Quiero pasar ahora la palabra e invitar a su exposición a Franck Riboud, presidente y director ejecutivo del Grupo Danone en Francia. Muchas gracias.
Okay. I was just asking if I have to speak in English or in French. And they choose French. So, even everybody agree I speak French, or you want I speak in English? So we make a votation. Who wants I speak French? Who wants I speak in English? No, democracy. They want English. But sorry, but I'm not sure you will understand better my English than my French for those who are not speaking French. So I will speak in French. Oh, in English. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Yunus, even if I know he's not totally organizing this meeting, but he asked me to come. And when Professor Yunus asked me to come, wherever it is, I come. That's all. It's very simple. Especially this year, because that was a difficult year for you. And you saw he needs the translation when I'm speaking in English. And that's the reason why that was not because I didn't understand his English. It's because he was supposing I didn't understand English. So, but I would like to come back a little bit on this story, because it's not the first time we are together on stage speaking about this experience, and you saw the movie, so I will not come back. I'm sure you have a lot of questions about this. But the usual question is, could you explain to me how a Nobel Prize, and at this time it was not a Nobel Prize, a Peace Nobel Prize, and the classic chairman of CEO of a big multinational called Danone, 20 billion euro turnover, more than 100,000, please stay here, 100,000 people working for the company, running after profit, needing profit. How can I do something with Mohamed Yunus? Just because I have people around me, and one of them, Mr. Faber, the vice chairman, told me, Frank, you have to meet Mohamed. So, yes. And we have a lunch in Paris. He was on the way to go to the ladies' conference in Deauville. So I have a lunch with him, and I explained to him the mission of my company, which is to bring health through food to the maximum number of people, which is the most important part of the mission, to the maximum number of people. And I explained to him, because of this consumer target, how do we want to push back our price? How do we want to have affordable product, especially in the emerging country? Because when I am in Indonesia, for example, I have always the same marketing presentation with category consumer A, B, C, D. And the conclusion is always the same. Frank, it's wonderful. We can launch Activia in Jakarta. There is 50 million consumers having relatively the same buying power than in France. And 50 million is more than Belgium, basically. And we are very lucky. They are all living in Jakarta, so the cost of distribution will be very low. Okay. But you have the pyramid with ABCD. And I said, why are we not going business with the class C or even class D? Because the mission is bring health through food to the maximum number of people. So penetration is very important. So we decide to have a strategy called affordability. How could we transform our business model to reach that kind of consumer? I'm not a politician. I will not save the planet. But if I can find a solution, a business one, to help people to buy my product because I trust they are good for health, and I'm totally crazy about this, I have to do it, whatever the results impacting the company. And I explained that to Mohamed, and he explained to me the Grameen Bank. Poor people borrowing money, blah, 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 blah. No signature, just a check hand. And that's the reason why I stand up to check hand. And he asked me, why? You check my hand? in the middle of the lunch. Are you going away? So that was a special lunch. And I said to him, no, you just explained to me that when we decide to do something in the microcredit together, we just shake hands. So I shake your hand. We are going to do something. And very honestly, Bangladesh is not a priority for Danone. It's a young company. We have many countries to conquer, so Bangladesh is not a priority. Very honestly, I just don't care. But I want to shake hands with this guy. Why? Because my father explained that when you met somebody, you trust him. And sometimes you ask yourself this question, I would like to become a friend of this guy. Don't miss, go ahead. Do everything to become a friend. So I stand up and I shake hands, and it's true. I don't want to make profit. Okay, I will come back on profit. And I said, I don't care. No, I am at the head of a big company. You really think Bangladesh will put in trouble the company I'm driven? No. So I said, no, yes, go ahead. But I have shareholder. Yeah, I have shareholder. And the company belongs to the shareholder, not to me. I am an employee. What is a shareholder? A shareholder is somebody who buys your share expecting a return. So I have to respect this, because a shareholder could be somebody retired or somebody like. So that's a global game. I don't have to change the rules. I can convince to move a little bit, which was the first target I have by doing something with Mohamed Yunus. I am totally crazy, as you know, and I have a dream. I have shareholder. I can't choose. It's a free market, but I can have an attitude which attracts a certain category of shareholder, a long-term shareholder, or people sharing the same vision about the world than me. Perhaps I will not succeed, but it's not a reason not to try. So the first shake hand was this one, because as a marketing guy, how do you want I find a better brand than this guy to convince my shareholder? And why I want to convince my shareholder? Because my father. Because even if it is not a family company, it's a total floating, 98 floating. My father was the chairman before me. So you can imagine what I listened about this, not controlling the company, being the son, even if I start as a reps in the company. But this guy, my father, declared in 1972 that you can't have economic results if you don't have social progress, and vice versa. 1972, and trust me, it's going to be very, very fashionable in the next months, next week, next years. But that's the origin of the way we drive business in the Danone Group. And by the way, for the Spanish, there was another guy trusting in that called Daniel Carasso. You don't know him. It's a Spanish guy. His father came to Barcelona before the First War, and he started Danone in Barcelona. So we are Spanish, and we have a Spanish brand. Danone is a nickname of Daniel Carasso given by his father Isaac. And Daniel has the opportunity to meet Mohamed, and he really pushed me to do what we did with Mohamed. So these two people are at the origin of the junction between Grameen and Danone. Profit. Do we need profit? Because, I'm very well known to tell the truth and how I think. Profit. Yes, I don't care about profit, except that I have to cover the cost, as Mohamed said, and I have also to cover a kind of return to my shareholder. And return is very important to understand. What does it mean? It's not only money. If it is just money, I will not convince my shareholder. So we choose, because after Grameen Danone, because of Grameen Danone, affordability strategy, we made together, we have Grameen Danone, and after that we create Danone Community. Danone Community is a fund we create just to launch different social business, not only in Bangladesh, we have in Senegal, we have in Vietnam, we have in Cambodia, about everywhere where we think there is something to solve about nutrition, because that's the place we have competences. So we create a fund. And I asked to the shareholder to accept to take money from their pocket, basically, to create this Danone Communities Fund, which is we call it in French, a SICAV. So no risk, but we can invest money in social business. And I was in front of the shareholder, an assembly like this one, not the same people, but same number of people, perhaps more. And I present the result of the year, and they were very good, and they applaud, like you. And I said to them, no, you will have the dividend. Yes. And so I have another news. I will take an amount of money because I want to create a fund to develop social business. Just imagine the gap. Okay? But they vote. And the answer was 99% yes. So the conclusion for me was we can expect to change something. I'm not sure we will succeed. And I told you that the shareholder, nobody controls the Danone Group. So tomorrow I can have a takeover bid on Danone and they will change the management. That's the reason why, even in terms of management, and I'm coming back to the return, in terms of management, to see that the shareholder accept we do that, it's an incredibly strong signal. If we deliver the result, because we are not totally naive. So please, Mr. X from Danone, help us to reach the target we fix for the shareholder, because doing this, we get the freedom to do what we want. How do we want to build the world? How do we want to build Danone? It's a question of freedom for us to deliver the profit we promise. And the question is not the profit. The question is, because you need the profit. If you don't have the profit, you know, I'm always saying this, a company is a very dangerous animal, like a big lion. If he needs food, he will become very, very, very dangerous. A company, it's exactly the same. But if you let this company going down, they will fire people, they will close factory, because they have to do it. They have to do it. So the quality of your result is important. You need the profit to reinvest, to get innovation, to train people, to take care of the people, even if you have to take difficult decisions. But you have to make profit. And that's the reason why we decide to invest in social business. I have nothing against charity. It's even a personal issue. But as a chairman of a company, social business is business. So the question in social business is not what are you going to do with, are you going to do profit or not? You have to do profit. If we want to build a second factory in Dhaka, we need profit to reinvest. If we want to measure the impact of our product for the young Bangladeshi people, children, we need profit, because nobody will measure for free, except that together we find somebody to do it for free, called GAIN, which is an NGO. And we ask them not to measure if we improve health through the yogurt. We ask them to measure for the next 10 years if we push back poverty by improving the health through the food, which is a much more ambitious target. And the answer is yes. Because if your kids in Spain have a diarrhea, okay, you give him whatever and it's done. In Bangladesh, and I learned that from Mohammed Yunus when we visit the village many years ago now, if you have a diarrhea for kids in Bangladesh, it's perhaps 30–40% of the immunity system which disappear for the rest of their life. So he will not work, he will not learn, and you push up poverty if you don't take care of that. So the return, and because I'm always very long, so you tell me when I have to stop. Huh? The return. First of all, perhaps we can imagine to measure the efficiency of a company, not only with finance. an idea. How do we impact? Not only finance. In Danone, we have we have managers. There is a market for managers, so we have a bonus system, the famous Auful bonus system. Since now 6 years, this bonus is based on 1/3 finance and economics, 1/3 management, 1/3 social and environmental issue. So even if you don't succeed with your economic result, you can get 2/3 of your bonus system. Why did we take this risk? Because, as I said, we are convinced that without social progress, we will not have the economic result. And I'm totally convinced, especially for the young generations, that it's stupid to think that you can motivate people just with money. You have to give them sense. And you will not give them sense just because of your bonus system based on financial issue. And not only the young people, but even the people who retired from Danone are now giving their time for Danone communities, because it's not because you are 65 or 70 years old, you lose all your competences. So your job is to transfer, which is exactly what we try to do with the social business. Okay, so now if you want to know more about the story between Grameen and Danone, that's a few minutes promotion. You buy the book, the second one of Mohamed, that will help him, first, and second, you will really read the truth about the story. Thank you.